First up, my hair has conformed. It has been combed and I'm not happy about it. I wish not to conform to society and have neat hair, but no, one cannot live life with peppers and dangly bits. I have to conform to society's wants. But anyway, speaking of society, let's talk about this Rona shit. I'm gonna be quick because I'm not really bothered. Actually, I'm not bothered. You know why I'm not bothered? Because maybe we deserve this. Yeah, I said it. Maybe we deserve it. Have we looked at how we treat each other? No, seriously. How do we treat each other as a whole? We don't care. We kill each other every day. We're mean to each other. We fat shame. We skinny shame. We're racist. We're not racist. We're basically a bunch of kids in a shit pond. Not all of us. Not all of us, but if the water has most of the shit in it, it turns the water to shit water, right? That is the world. And I'm just gonna admit it. Let's just be real. And I guess the reason why I am frustrated is because people think that the world is going to return to normal. The world's gonna go back to how it was when we could rave every day or go wherever we want, when we want. That is done. Not for I don't know how long it is done for, but it is. Because of people's mistakes. I was gonna say something else, but I just need to say people's. But it's not even just one person's fault at the end of the day. We have built a society or a global society where we take away everything natural and replace it with easy and cheap and fast, and then because of that we are now in a predicament where the whole world is pretty much bent over a barrel because we were so addicted to easy living and fast products. Like, we didn't care, but no, let's be real, we did not care how much we were destroying the planet a couple of years ago, but once we started realizing, oh, it might affect us, we started caring. But if we never did that research on global warming or climate change, would we care? Would we? No. We only care about coronaviruses because we see the fact that it's gonna destroy, well, economically speaking, it's probably the worst thing that's happened this half of the 21st century or even the 20th century. Even in World War I and II, there was a way to economically recover depending on what side of the war you're on. But here, everything is still tied down to China, therefore, we're all kind of, yeah, I don't want to swear anymore. In short, I guess, like, as I said earlier, people want to return to some form of normality that the world will return to, like college, you know, like just normal stuff. They want that, but I feel those people who are saying that stuff is not actually taking it in, or rather, they're choosing not to take it in, so it will conform with their reality or what they want from reality. But at the same time, there's a lot of things what adding to that is the fact that the governments around the world, not just our government, yeah, have basically done a piss poor job of everything apart from Taiwan and a few countries in between, yeah. We've created a state where people no longer believe in something what can literally, if it doesn't kill them, it will affect them for the rest of their life, in the fact of how much damage it does to the human body. And then we have these politicians then at the same time undermining those effects, even though they want you to believe in their effects. So we're now in a position where there's like, what, more than 60% of the people, probably people you know, who don't believe in coronavirus. And then there's people who do believe in coronavirus. But then regardless of how people think or feel, shit is going on, and we can call it whatever we want to call it. Call it whatever we want, the virus. Because honestly, like, it doesn't matter what you think of it, but end of the day, like 9/11, this shit is world changing. Our world isn't going to be the same. It's either how we deal with it. Do we make a better world from this chaos, or do we continue going down this road? Like, what's stopping another outbreak from happening again? There's nothing stopping it. We don't have no antibiotics for it. We don't have no no chance of even figuring out where to begin with that. All we're going off is blind hopes and faiths of governments what have kind of proven themselves to be not distrustworthy, that's not a word, untrustworthy, because, bro, I just feel like I'm rambling, but it's mostly because I'm angry and not really in a good mood. In a state where in 60 years, God willing, your grandkids will be asking, how was 2020? What did you do during 2020? Because the reason why I say that is that this genuinely feels like the start of much more to come. This is just the start of the decade. It's not the end of the decade. I don't want to sound like a negative Nazi, but the way society and the way the government are dealing with this thing is basically how I'm looking at it. It's just proving that we're going to be stuck in this situation for a lot longer. The government's not being honest. People are being foolish, or rather people don't want to let go of a world what once was. Camera woman.
Sorry.
Domestics. You see this? Domestic. How many people do you know? Honestly, you can answer in the comment section. How many people do you know during the lockdown went out partying and raving? How many? Not to say they shouldn't, because obviously it's fucking hard being locked up for like I don't even know how long we were locked up for, but it was a long time. Yeah, so I don't really blame them. But the point is, if every 2 in 10 people are going out raving, yeah, and I'm probably not talking about it because you're not, well, some did. Some people advertising what they were doing, but most didn't, yeah. So those people went and continued like life never went on while the remaining obviously shut down, school shut, everything shut down, yeah. But these people were still continuing as life was going on. They were going to their friend's house, they were going to parties, anything they were doing, yeah. Now things started to get restricted. The people who were cautious kind of in their head think that everyone else was cautious too. They were doing what we were doing. That's not entirely true. Then they opened the pubs. I would not have opened the pubs first. That's like the worst thing you would have opened first, but they opened the pubs. So now the people who have been good, not good as perspective, but you know what I mean, in the sense of keeping safe and their family safe, yeah, are now venturing out, rightfully so, to go and have a social life, go and meet their friends they haven't seen in a long time, yeah. But now they're still going to meet those people who've been going around partying and playing and whatever they're doing. So you've now contaminated the people who potentially never got contaminated with the potential of being contaminated. And then that's just one example of the foolishness. I don't even want to get into talking about what is going on in China right now. Like, bro, have you guys started looking into that? But in short, we need to just accept that the world is not going to be the same. And I guess the quicker we get that into our heads, the easier it's going to be, because we can start looking forward and how are we going to try and bring this new world into a kind of world we are familiar with. Like, for example, yeah, instead of rushing to get all those kids back to school, why didn't the government invest heavily in a better online curriculum? Why did they not invest in servers to keep the schools running? Why didn't the universities do the same? And instead, they focused on the economy. As a result, we're about to go back into a second lockdown because they've seen it. Bristol, look at the rates in Bristol. There was 4,000 cases yesterday. When you move too fast, you're basically gonna crash. Look at America, for example. America refused to close down everything. And then when they did close down shit, look at it now. They're still in lockdown. They opened the schools up too early. A school teacher died. That's gonna keep on happening. And the worrying thing is, yeah, the world has realized that they're on the brink of a recession, innit? They cannot continue to not have things running, innit? So it basically comes down to this, yeah. How much life are they going to lose if they allow it to continue running and we lock ourselves off for how many years? and then the economy eventually would crash because no one was working, or they prop up the economy at the price of thousands or even millions of people. That's the decision every country in the world is now facing. I don't want to sound like I'm fucking like I don't get it, because I do get it. I do get that you want to just, you want it to be normal, but this only highlights, as people, we need to actually actively do more. For so long we've been complicit in the bullshits what's going around the world, and we did nothing. We heard of all the Jimmy Saviles, all the Pizza Gates, all of these madnesses we heard, but we didn't care. But hopefully now because of our lack of action, or rather the West's lack of action in regards to China, the whole world is basically in a position no one wants to be in. Maybe now we've learned we can't ignore the devil because it gives us rewards. Because at the end of the day, that devil's gonna turn on us eventually, and it has. Look at it. Bruv, look at it. Tell me that's not true. Tell me that we did not get all of that good shit from China for so long. But it came at a price, and it did. We ignored human rights violations. We ignored so many. And it almost feels like, if you believe in God, spiritually, whatever you want to believe in, it feels like there's a higher force trying to humble us, in a sense. And that's how it feels like. Yeah, I would say shortly that big boy chess games are being played right now. To be honest, I couldn't even begin to tell you where to look, because honestly I'm still stumped. But from what I'm looking at, from comparing what 9/11 was 19 years ago, innit? Not from today, but from
2001.
Yeah, so 19 years ago, yeah, the world changed. 19 years later, the world has changed again. Okay, I'm gonna sound like a huge conspiracy theorist, but the point is, what did the world gain? Well, not the world. What did the West gain from 9/11? I have to be so careful what I'm saying here, because I don't want to offend anyone, yeah? So I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the policies, yeah? So we'll separate that. But what did America gain from the destruction of 9/11? Access to the Middle East, a war on what's it called? Weapons of mass destruction, they used to call it. What they never found. The point is, they got a free pass into the Middle East, and they are still there to today. It goes back further than that, because you have to talk about World War II and World War I if you actually, not even World War II, if you want to go into it. But the point is, there was a big game of chess played around those times, resulting in a shift. We couldn't go in airplanes the same way we used to. We had to take off our shoes. We couldn't carry water bottles. The point is, the world changed as a result of 9/11. Coronavirus is that change 20 years later. I don't see the difference between that and this. Obviously, it's different context. One went boom and one is a pathogen, yeah, but context, yeah, they will have the same result. Control. So I don't know, man. I have no proof or anything, but we do know from what I've read. I don't know what you guys have read, but there is no doubt that this is definitely a man-made thing. This isn't. Well, this particular coronavirus, because there's different types of coronas. Yeah, corona. When you hear corona, it represents cells what look like the sun. So any cell, if you look under the microphone, looks like a circular sun-shaped cell. That's a corona cell, isn't it? Yeah. So corona. Anyway. Find that level of virus without human tinkering. There is no way this virus created itself, or rather evolved into this deadly of a beast without help. Hawaii would like a better transport industry on the island. China will be like, oh, we're willing to build the infrastructure for you and basically make up some bullshit like, oh yeah, we will provide jobs to your country, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is pay back the debt. And if you cannot pay the debt, it's okay, because all we want is that port we helped you build. If you can't pay for it, we will just take it on a 90-year lease. So it'll belong to us for 90 years, and sometimes even more, depending on what kind of stupid contract the country signed, yeah. And basically, China wanted to use the One Belt, One Road initiative in conjunction with basically mask and antibiotic diplomacy to basically put itself in favorable positions. Oh, England, you're out of masks. We will give you 50 million masks, but we need from you. We need you to set a Huawei contract up for us. Basically, there's catches and clauses to this what will enable basically China to be put in the upper hand, and that's basically what their goal was. But as we saw, it didn't work, and yeah, they got exposed. But there was a bigger goal to this, and it hasn't gone right. But doesn't mean there wasn't something, like there's something going on here, guys, and we're all just being too blinded by what we actually want and what we actually. We're being one mind. Well, not everyone, but the people who want life to return to normality are being very one-minded. It's like living through a great war atrocity and then expecting everyone who lived through it to be happy and dandy afterwards. It takes time. There's a process to this, and sure, you just need to shut the hell up. Life is not going to go back to how you want it, regardless of how much you beg or cry. What you can do is put yourself into positions where you can make the world better. Because honestly, it's up to us now. We either make it more worse than it is, or we try and make it better. It's the only options we have. And yeah, that's it. So guys, please have a good week. And yes, this video wasn't happy, or you didn't catch me smiling as much as I normally do. It's just, I don't really feel like smiling today. And frankly, it's not a joking matter. How we handle this stuff is going to determine if we're going to be in this situation for the next 20, 30 years or shorter. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, but I think I talked enough. You guys have a good week. And yeah, I'll be back.